welcome to tonight's What to Know Wednesday. My name is Grace Kim. I am the 4-H Horse Extension Assistant here at UNL, and today's topic is body condition scoring your horse. So why do we want to know our horse's body condition score, or BCS score? The biggest reason nutritionally would be to know if your current feeding program meets your horse's caloric intake or needs. So this horse, I know she's probably at a light to moderate workload, especially in the spring and summer for shows. So knowing by her owner accurately knowing her BCS score on average, maybe checking them weekly or bi-weekly would help her determine if her horse is keeping the correct or having the correct caloric intake for the feeding program she has. The body condition scoring system is a system that ranges from 1 to 9. 1 being extremely poor and extremely skinny. And then a 9 would be an extremely obese horse. So lots of fat, probably has some possible metabolic issues when we get to a more obese looking horse. So today, on average, you would want your horse to be at a 5. They say if you cannot see a horse's ribs in general, they are at a 5 or more. Depending on a horse's breed and age and its use, your body condition score might range. So for brood mares, research has shown that mares at a higher BCS score, at like a 6 or a 7, tend to do better nutritionally and for their health when carrying a baby. So, and then quarter horses, they tend to be at like a 5 or 6, depending on what they are used for. And you'll see for eventing horses that they're on the leaner side, so they use so many calories for their competitions. They'll be on at more of a 4 for those types of horses. So today we'll talk about the different locations where horses tend to deposit fat. So we'll start with Dot here at the neck. So horses up here, I know her mane is kind of in the way, but horses tend to deposit fat up here the higher we go on the BCS score. So you'll see those horses with sometimes big humps in their neck, or just a little hump. It just depends on what they have fat-wise. Dot here, she doesn't have too much fat deposits on her neck, but just a good accurate amount. Next, we'll move down to her withers. As you can see, or hopefully see, you can't really see much withers on her for her body type, but she does have a good amount of fat deposited around her withers. So that'll kind of help us determine at the end, once we're done looking, her BCS score might be on the higher side. We'll see. And then another area would be the horse's back. So horses, as we go higher on the BCS score, they tend to get more of a crease, so kind of like a valley the higher we get. When they're skinnier, their backs, you can see their vertebrae and their backs when they're on the lower scale, so it's going to look more like this. Dot has a pretty flat back. She doesn't have any extreme crease in her back, so that's pretty good so far. And then we'll look at the tail head. So horses tend to deposit fat around their tail head. So as just kind of feeling around, the best way to do the body condition scoring system is being able to feel your horse. So as I feel around her tail head, she does have a good amount of squishy fat around both sides of her tail head. So that also helps us determine kind of in our heads what her BCS score is looking at like. And the last two would be behind the horse's shoulder. So horses tend to deposit fat right behind the shoulder. Again, you would want to squish it. She does have a little bit of fat here too, a little bit squishy. And then lastly would be the ribs. So first you would like to look from afar. I cannot see Dot's ribs right now, so I would for sure put her at 5 or higher. While looking at the horse's ribs, you would want to not be able to see them, but you would want to easily be able to feel them as you move your hand across. As I'm doing this, I cannot easily feel Dot's ribs, so I'm going to have to palpate to really feel where her ribs are, which still is a little bit difficult. So honestly, overall, after looking at all the fat deposit areas, I would probably put Dot at more of a 7. She is also known as an easy keeper, so it might be, even with light amount of food, she is known for just holding her weight. So overall, you'd always want to check on your horse's weight, on your horse's BCS score, but also more practice for yourself and knowing your horse's average BCS score, especially as show season's coming up. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to contact me or comment below in the video, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.